Can you tell me about filming the scene where your character finds out she will not be getting the crown?
Yeah, it was really horrible, actually. I mean, I felt like... Did you guys ever have a show called Blind Date?
Yes.
Okay, I felt a little bit like I was on Blind Date because it was so, we were standing there very exposed on this kind of dais with hundreds of people watching us, the whole court, but it was that, it felt like thousands, but it was probably hundreds, but, and I really felt like, it was like that awful moment on Blind Date when and they're gonna pick
number 2.
Not you, number 2. And you just feel, and it's a sort of horrible, really horrible moment of total rejection. Very humiliating, actually. And yet, none of that can be shown. Obviously, you have to be a good sport, and so thrilled it was you. Go, number 2. I'm
the
so
awards
happy
face,
for you. Exactly.
And the winner is,
I know.
It should have been you.
So
it's really annoying.
Yeah, I'm curious how she sort of sees her cousin, the son of her uncle, because your father was the number 1.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really, his younger brother doesn't really think he's very strong himself.
I mean, let's face it. Sorry, Paddy, but he's a wonderful guy and everybody loves him. He's a lovely, lovely person, but really rubbish as a ruler. In this context.
Yeah, I was going to say, in this time.
In this world, in this time.
Yeah.
In terms of what was needed, actually, I think he's probably a little bit like Prince Charles in terms of kind of visionary,
very forward-thinking, very caring,
and very loving, and all of that. But
in the right time, he'd be a very good king.
He would have been in a more progressive kind of a world where people weren't flying dragons and being crazy,
cutting each other's heads off.
However, in this context, well, I'm obviously biased, but I think that Rhaenys would have been. I don't think any of this would have happened, frankly.
Do you think your characters harbor hopes for their children?
Yes,
especially after what happens in the first episode.
Oh, this guy does. It's not even a hope; it's an
it's
obsession.
It's a source of contention.
Yeah, I think it's an obsession. He's kind of. He feels the so-called slight of his wife, seemingly even more than she does.
Oh.
So there are moments when you can imagine that they've had this conversation where he's gone, no, it should be you. And she's gone, you know what,
just leave it.
We're rich, we're fine.
Let
And he's
it
like,
go.
no, it's not right. And if I can't get my wife on the throne, then I'll see if I can get one of my kids.
It's like pushing them forward.
Yeah. Never mind what they want to do.
So that's something we should look out for then. Does he prefer the son over the daughter, or is he just whichever one I can get in there?
That's a very interesting question. My insight into it, and this is only from playing a few scenes, and it's not actually in the script, is that he loves both his children. He likes his daughter. He favors his daughter a little bit more. His son is a good son, and he's a great warrior, which is one of the currency for this guy. He's a great warrior, and he's a dragon rider. However, his son has
You're harder on him.
I'm harder on him, and because. And I guess this happens in families sometimes, because you're the boy, you're the man, so you haven't got time for all this frivolous nonsense.
That's a quite truthful dynamic, isn't it? That very often it's the mother and the son that are very connected, and it's the father and the daughter that are very connected emotionally.
Because it's so funny, because when I had the meeting with the guy, the 2 showrunners for this, that was what we talked about, fathers. I had just played a father in a drama that they had seen, and we were talking just about that idea of this, how hard that character was on his son. You're the hope for the family, so you ain't got time to be doing all this nonsense. And I think Corlys is that, just switched up to 11.
11.